Hello, friends. Story time. Um, I heard a saying once: the more you do something, the easier it becomes, right? And this is about the time I had to be an adult. Okay, I had to be a big girl. So it's 2012, and my ex-husband strangles me within an inch of my life. Like, I lose consciousness, petechia in my eyes, strangulation marks around my neck. Like, it was bad. Okay, and I like to be open about that situation because I wasn't for a long time, and I realized once I faced my fears and lived my truth and just kept it a rack with myself, I started helping people with my testimony. So there was a time where I couldn't talk about it without busting into tears, and now I'm just like, you know what? It happened. It was messed up. Obviously, I got out of there immediately, but maybe this will help you understand that, you know what? There is hope, and you don't have to be scared. Okay? So I make up my mind, I'm done, right? It's September 2012. I'm freaking done. Like, I cannot do this. That was way too close. Seriously. I got migraines. I'm losing weight. My hair is falling out. And I'm having a physical reaction to the stress. I can't do it to myself. I can't do it to my kids. And I can't do it to the people that love me. So I gotta go. So right when I'm going through everything, I started getting back in contact with a good friend of mine named Crystal, who's also from Brooklyn, but she was a military spouse, also living in Hawaii when we met, and we became like inseparable over the years. So it was almost like that was a time that I needed to reconnect that friendship with her. And so I hit her up on Facebook or something, and we just started talking again, like as if nothing ever happened. So we're talking for a couple weeks, and it's somebody who I don't have to be like somebody I can talk. It's somebody I can talk to without worrying that are they gonna go back and tell him what I said, right? Because this is my friend. Everybody I knew in California was like our friend, and anybody who's been divorced knows what I mean when I say that. Okay, so talking to Crystal like every day after court, hours upon hours, like that was serious therapy. Like, when you're away from home, you're away from your people, your friends become your family. And although she was living in South Carolina and I was in California, like, Crystal not even really like my friend anymore. She's like a cousin or a sister. Okay, so therapy. I'm going to actual therapy because friend dropped out of the marriage counseling. So I decided to, you know what? While I still have my military insurance, I'm gonna do some self-care. So I started going to therapy by myself because the military covered it. I started going to I went to the dentist, fixed cavities, eye exam, pap smear, anything that they covered, I went and got it done because I didn't know what was going to happen. Like, I'm scared I'm going to be poor. I'm going to be a bum. Like, I'm be on welfare. Like, everything is going through my mind. I mean, I don't know, and no knock to welfare because I've been on it before, but it's just, I was used to a certain quality of life, and I was scared out of my mind. Like, I didn't know what I was gonna do. Like, the world was crumbling around me. It was like, what nourishes me destroys me. It's like, here's this guy that doesn't value me, but he pays for all my crap, so let me deal with something that I know is not right. And I know that sounds crazy now, but that was the mentality, and that's the mentality for a lot of women in that situation, especially if you're a military spouse and you're putting their career first, and you got kids, and everything is his career. And then when it takes off, they want to leave you in a lurch. So I don't know what to do. I'm away from my family, so I don't have that energy. I don't have that empowerment, and I'm scared. I'm afraid. What am I gonna do? So I finally put my big girl panties on, and I said, you know what, Sherry, you can't do this anymore. So talking to Crystal was like, you should move here, and I'm like, what? She's like, you should move to South Carolina. And I'm like, ha, chick, how I'm gonna get there? She was like, you got a car, don't you? I was like, that is true. I do have a car. I do have a car. And so it's a nice car. It's a Magnum, and it had 22s on it. Like, I miss her. But I said, you know what? I'm going to do this. I am going to do this. Right? But how am I going to do it? So what I did was did some research. And I found out that January 2nd is National Divorce Day. Did you know that? January 2nd is National Divorce Day. And what happens with National Divorce Day is everybody gets divorced on National Divorce Day so that they can still file their taxes jointly for the year prior. Didn't know that. And because January 1st is a holiday, people do their divorce paperwork post-dated to the 2nd. So that way you get full credit for being married for the entire year. So I wanted to do that too, because that just makes sense, right? And then I said, well, how am I going to make it when I get out here? So I go to court, ironically, on our wedding anniversary, December 28th, right? And I leave the court, I'm playing the Rock Boys by Jay-Z. I'm just like so disrespectful with it, trying to act like I'm not hurt, but I am. And I start packing my stuff and I start selling anything that wasn't nailed down. And I started stacking my money, and I'm getting ready to leave. So it's a 3,000-mile journey across the country. And I don't know what the hell I'm thinking about. So I found a place online. It was only $600 a month. And I went ahead and got that place. I got the lease in the mail. And it sat on the table for 3 weeks because I was scared to sign it. I had never done anything by myself. Me and my ex-husband grew up together, and now I was going to leave with our children and live in a place I've never even been to before by myself, and the only person I know is Crystal. That paper sat on that table in that FedEx package for 3 weeks because I was terrified to sign it. Finally, I did. And they wanted rental history, but I didn't have any rental history because I always lived with my mom. And when I didn't live with my mom, I was with my husband, and we lived on base. So everything was in his name. I didn't even have rental history. So a friend of mine, Loretta, lied for me and pretended to be a former landlord, and she was my reference. And I got the house. I got it signed, $600 a month, 3 bedrooms in a pretty questionable neighborhood, which we'll talk more about later. And I said, okay, Your Honor, I need to move to Columbia, South Carolina, and also the ex-husband's family is from there. So he was like, cool, I can see the children. Whenever I go there, I can stay by my grandmother. He never actually did it, but okay. So I was there for 3.5 years, and this is how I got there. Filed my taxes with him. I'm like, hey, listen, we can do married filing jointly. And he's like, got to ask permission from his girlfriend that he cheated on me with to go file taxes for me and his children. And we go and we file the taxes, and the agreement is I want 70% of the tax money so that I can start over. And he agreed because without me, he's got to file single, and he's not going to get anything. So he agrees. So that was in January. So armed with my $6,705.13 onward, Valentine's Day, I said, you can come and say bye to your kids. This is when I'm leaving. And he never showed up. He never did his visitation. For 77 days, we were going through our divorce. He was not coming to see the children at all. When we had a meeting to drop them off, if I was even 1 minute late, he would leave. So I had to buy a coffee to prove I was there and present it. It was the most ridiculous thing. So I'm driving, right? I'm driving. It's what seems like forever. I'm in Arizona. I'm taking Highway 10 straight across. And I stopped in New Mexico in this, I don't even know, of a motel. And the carpet is green. And it reminded me of that short story called The Yellow Wallpaper, with the vines just twisting and turning. It was like casino carpet. And this thin quilt with the funny, funky looking piece underneath. It was horrible. It was horrible. And I went to McDonald's. I left my kids at the hotel, went to McDonald's at the corner and got McDonald's for them, and I put them to sleep. Troy and Trent in one bed. And I booked these hotels in advance. I planned my trip out. 10 hours today, 10 hours today, 10 hours today. And that's how I did it. And I put them to sleep. Trini was going to sleep with me, and Troy and Trent were together. And I stopped in this hotel in New Mexico what is my black ass doing in New Mexico? I stopped in New Mexico. I went in the bathroom and I got in the tub fully clothed and I cried. I mean, I really cried. I wept and I wept and I wept. And I just knew I had made the biggest mistake of my life. And I needed to go back and tell them that I'm sorry and I messed up. I gotta go back. So I called my friend Justin, who helped me find my house. And I said, Justin, I gotta go back. I'm like crying. Justin, I'm freaking out. And he says, calm down. Calm down. It is one night. Calm down. You are starting over. You have a job interview when you get here. You're gonna be okay. And Justin's an ordained minister. And he has this like James Earl Jones voice, right? And when he spoke that, oh, I knew I was gonna be fine. So 3 more days, a friend's house in Texas, and another sketchy motel in Mississippi. I made it. I made it to South Carolina. I made it. And the house was small and old. And I didn't have a bed yet. I was sleeping on couches that Justin got me from a flea market or something, or a thrift store. And the first day I got there, I went and bought 3 mattresses. 3 twin-size mattresses, and I put them in my Magnum, because if you lay it down, they can all fit. 3 twin-size mattresses in the back of my Magnum, and I'm like this on the steering wheel, like, can't even turn the wheel. And Justin had some people who I was just like, is this safe? Come and put just what looked like discarded bed frames together in Troy and Trinity's rooms. And my room was completely empty because I didn't have a bed. And I slept on the raggedy couch. And it was crazy. It was freaking crazy. It was completely nuts. And I think like the 2nd or 3rd day I was there, I went to the interview and I got the job. And it was only paying me like $13 an hour. But I got the job. Yeah. So I'm living there. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna bring the kids to see that. So I'm living there in, I get there February 17th. I get the job. My first day was like March 1st or something. And then my divorce was finalized on March 19, 2013. So I get the document in the mail and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And wow, I was like, I'm divorced? What is that? Like, that was hard. That was very, very hard. But I got through it. So fast forward to August, my sister's like, hey, I have this old flat screen TV if you want it. So I drive out to Georgia where my sister was stationed with the Air Force, and I pick up the TV. And I drive back and I set it up. My kids are in New York. I drove 11 hours to New York, dropped them off to their father's family, drove 11 hours back to come to work. And then while they were gone in August, I went and got this television for my sister. So I got to go pick up my kids from the grandfather's house because the first day back to school in South Carolina is my birthday, August 19th. So I go back, I go get my kids, and I had like a sick feeling. Like, I don't know what, I had just like a sick, nervous feeling. I don't know what was going on. And I'm like, Justin, you got to help me out here. I need to borrow some money, and I need to run to New York. He was like, you're getting paid in a couple of days. Why can't you just wait? I'm like, no, something's wrong. I need to go get my kids. So he lends me a couple bucks, and I shoot up to New York, and I had to knock on the door. I'm like, had my hand over the peephole, and I'm like, and I get my kids. I stayed with my friend Stephanie. And what would I do without my friends? Can we just talk about that real fast? Seriously? Crystal, Loretta, Justin, Stephanie. So I drive up there, I get my kids, I stay by Stephanie. The next day was the 29th of July. I get paid. I pay Justin back his money. It wasn't much. It was like $100 for tolls, right? And I drive back to South Carolina. And I'm on I-95 South. I'm joining the New Jersey Turnpike, and I'm coming back down to South Carolina. And my ex-husband calls me going off. What the F is wrong with you? What the F is wrong with you? You're trying to keep your kids away from me. Hold on, Poppy. The kids was by your father's house for 7 weeks. How am I keeping your kids from you? You know where your daddy stayed, right? And I was all the way in South Carolina. What is you talking about? I dropped them off with food. I dropped them off with money. I even gave my father-in-law a bottle of wine and $100 cash. I dropped them off with toilet paper, paper towel, and my friend was like, you know, a liaison for whatever my kids wanted if they was, you know, getting, because I know my kids are a little, you know, they extra. They can't just have shrimp. They want jumbo shrimp. Like, I know how my kids are. So, like, you legit got paid for keeping my kids. And now you're saying, like, really? Little boy, zero time. I don't have time for this. I have an 11-hour drive in front of me. And I'm stopping in Maryland at my cousin's house. And I'm going to be great. Like, I'm not, like, really? So, driving, stop at my cousin's house, have some libations, sleep, wash up, wake up the next morning, back to business. So I'm driving back. I pull in my driveway. I get the kids back. We go inside the house. I open the door, and I see the back door is open. Somebody robbed me. Somebody came into my house when I was going to get my kids and stole $13,000 worth of stuff out of my house. And that's the depreciated value. They stole that TV my sister just gave me. They stole my Hewlett-Packard touchscreen computer. They stole my kids' Nintendo Wii. They took my microwave. They took my 7 jeans. They even took my makeup case. My ex-husband always said it looked like a gun case. He did always say that. And inside the makeup case, because it had a lock, was my passports. I'm hysterical. I'm screaming. I'm crying. I can't believe this is happening to me. And then the phone, I told my ex-husband, I'm like, Colton, somebody robbed us. Somebody robbed me. Somebody robbed us. Somebody was in the house. The kids are screaming. I'm screaming. The neighbors are looking like, what's going on? To this day, I think they wait on it. And I'm screaming. I'm crying. I'm crying. And he just like doesn't care. Like, why does this shit calling me? Like, all right, just take it easy. 7, maybe 12 minutes later, I get a text message from the same little girl that he cheated on me with. And you know what she said? She said, karma's a bitch. That's what you get for keeping the kids from their father. That's what she said. She said that to me. Yeah, she did. But the name of this channel is Turn Your Scars into Stars. So guess what happened? That was a blessing in disguise. I had insurance. Let me tell you about the wonders of insurance. If you don't get insurance, get it. Dental, medical, life, cell phone, rental, homeowners, flood, fire. Get insurance, people. Get insurance. You get a wedding cake, get insurance on the cake. If you're a dancer, insure your legs. You gotta get insurance. They assessed all the damage. They depreciated everything. And it came down to like $9,000 or something. I got to check. It took time for them to process it, but I want to say within a month I had a check. So while I'm waiting for the check, I'm talking to this guy that I met briefly, and he's a contractor, and he's about to go back out to Afghanistan or Iraq or something like that. He has this horrible stutter. Horrible stutter. I think his cousin follows me. I think her name's Kayla. Kayla, if you see this video, like and subscribe. He was a sweetie pie, but he had a horrible stutter. And I told him what happened, and he was like, yeah, you can't stay there no more. So the first night that the robbery happened, August 5th, I stayed at Crystal's house, and it was her birthday. And I stayed at Crystal's house, and the next morning, I spoke to the landlord, and they got everything straight or whatever. And then I ended up moving into a gated community. But the guy, his name was Greg. Greg sent me $1,100. Like, listen, how much is it gonna cost you to get a new apartment? I'm like, with the deposit and the first month's rent, it's like $1,100. He's like, here's $1,100, go get a place. I'm like, are you serious? He's like, I don't feel right with you staying there. I'm like, but you don't even know me. He was like, do you know how much money I make out here? I'm just like, oh, my bad. So he gives me the money, and I get the apartment. Mind you, I had gotten the apartment already, but he told me to remind him to give me the money, and I didn't want to be a beggar. Like, you know, I'm proud. I don't want to do, I can do this by myself. And he was like, why didn't you remind me? And I was like, because I already moved. You don't have to give me the money. And he was like, but I want to. You're a female. You're divorced. You stay by yourself. You need to be in a safe place. I'm like, I don't know about that. He was like, girl, think of it. Your birthday's next week, right? I was like, yeah. He was like, think of it as a birthday gift. Who do you bank with? I tell him my bank. Yo, no lie, 20 minutes, the money was in my account. So I used the money to buy furniture because, like I told you, I already got the apartment. I actually still have some of the furniture that I bought with that money. And so I start going to, what's the place? Value City Furniture. I get this check, and I furnish my entire house. Like, I went in there, and I dropped like 4 racks. I got my purple chairs. I got some coffee tables. I got some lamps. I got a bed. So, people, you got to turn your scars into stars. Just because something bad, like, it happened right there, it don't say that's it. You know, you got to believe in yourself. You got to have faith. And it's sad. And I'm not like a terribly religious person, but I'm spiritual, and I believe in a higher power. And I believe that my life is just so chaotic. It's like, why can't I have a boring day? But somehow it always works out. Like, I don't know what it is, but it always works out. So I'm telling you, if you're going through something, if you feel scared, you feel nervous, somebody putting their hand on you, you feel threatened, just leave. Get out of there. To ask for help. People love you more than what you think. And if I can get out of that, you can get out of this, whatever this may be. Okay? I ended up graduating from Hampton University. I have a really good job. I have normal, healthy children. I wake up in the morning in a house that I now own. So don't be discouraged. Be not afraid. It's gonna be okay. Like, whatever it is, it's gonna be fine. Trust. You're gonna be good. That health problem you having is gonna clear itself up. You're gonna go to the doctor. You're gonna get some medicine. You're gonna walk. That migraine, get you some hydration. It's gonna be fine. Your kids failing in school, find out what they need help with, learn about it, teach them. Those bills, get a side job. Watch some kids in the house. Tutor online. Do some hair. Start a hobby. Start cutting grass. Turn your scars into stars, y'all. For real. I'm telling you. And you ain't got to have revenge, because ain't nobody going to fix somebody the way God can. That's one thing I do know. That girl who was being spicy with me, talking about, oh, that's karma, and my ex-husband sat there and let her do it, guess what? She got kicked out the military messing with me. I'll leave that story for another day. But her karma came back, and I didn't lay one hand on her. I didn't lay one hand, and I didn't lie. I didn't do anything sneaky. She did it to herself. She just gave me the bullets to load the proverbial gun. So let me get down here to my good friend's baby shower. Drive through, of course, coronavirus. The Roni is out here. So I'm going to go drop off this little gift to my friend girl. And I'm going to blend these eyebrows. These jokers look crazy right now. Woo. Too close, too close. Turn your scars into stars. Like, subscribe, share.